Talking with the experts.
Hello and welcome to Talking with the Experts. My name is Rose Davidson from rosedavidson.com, and Talking with the Experts is talking about all things business by business owners for business owners, and you can find it on SoundCloud and on YouTube. And today my guest is Dean Brown from Canada, and Dean Brown's business is Dean Brown Marketing, and everyone calls him Coach Dean. And we'll find out a bit about that later. He helps professional men and dads by providing a high-performance, personal reality, law of attraction coaching program that creates a unique to the client 6- and 7-figure multi-stream business income. Wow. His purpose is to not let what your parents and society forcibly told you that you know is not right for you, and to drive you to the brink of self-destruction. Yes, I know we've been told some terrible things as children, and they are not really the reality of our adulthood. Welcome, Dean, and please tell me about a scientific perspective on the law of attraction.
Well, I'm very, very happy to be here. Thank you, Rose. And I am happy to be here all the way from between Australia and Canada. And it was good to hear that you had come from BC originally. So that kind of gives us a kind of a connection. And I'm always happy to connect because that's what the law of attraction is all about.
Certainly.
And the law of attraction is a natural law. I don't know how many people actually live by or understand that fact, but there's no escaping it. And it's as simple as the law of gravity, ultimately, when you start to understand how it works and how to work with it. So you mentioned the word scientific. Well, there was a time when only mystics understood the law of attraction. And then, meditation and spirituality and all the things that went with that. And then it ended up becoming one of those things where the scriptures actually spoke about the law of attraction, but it wasn't actually called the law of attraction. It was called faith. And so this has always been a question as to, are we able to actually prove that the law of attraction, how it works, and is it, we call it a natural law, how scientifically natural is it? So recently, a gentleman by the name of Greg Braden had chosen to be involved in some research. You can find him on YouTube, by the way. And he was able to determine the very simple fact that science can back up the law of attraction, and this is how he did it. So some scientists, as usual, thinking outside the box, this is about quantum theory, by the way. I don't know how many people understand quantum theory and how connected the law of attraction is to quantum theory and the quantum soup and all those realities that go with it. As you know, quantum theory has been proven, so it's not actually quantum theory anymore. It's actually been proven. And what they did was they took a vessel and they removed everything from the vessel, made it a vacuum inside the vessel. And they know that there's still something in that vessel, and that would be quantum particles. Now, when we're not observing quantum particles, they're waves. When we're watching for them and looking for them, they become particles and observable. And that's what they were looking to see. But the reason they were looking to see them was to see if they held a pattern or not. They knew they'd be there, but they just didn't know in which state they would be there. Would they be in a cluster in the middle? Would they be clinging to the outside of the vessel? Would they be following any patterns of any sort? And what they discovered was that those particles were entirely random, nothing but randomness. So there was no rhyme or reason to them whatsoever, even though they were there. Now, with the law of attraction and manifestation, it's about creating. It's about actually making something from what you think, how you feel about what you think, what you say about how you feel, and what you do about what you say and feel. So that progression is where the creation comes in, the manifestation comes in. So for example, the cell phones that we work with today, they didn't just appear as cell phones. They became an idea, and the idea, or the light bulb for that matter. So all of these things started out as thoughts. So these gentlemen, had these thoughts of, okay, let's prove the quantum side of the law of attraction. Let's put some structure to the scripture. Let's make these things real if possible. And they went for it. So what they were able to do was, like I said, determine that those particles are there without a pattern. And they thought, well, how can we make them have a pattern? What is it that makes them have a pattern? What is it that makes manifestation? What is the key? So they thought, well, let's take some human DNA and let's just take a couple of molecules, a couple of atoms of human DNA and put it in that vessel. Now, when they did that, they got shock instantly. The moment that matter was put in place in that vacuum, the quantum particles mirrored the pattern of the human DNA to a molecule. Boom, just like the DNA strand. There it was, instantly. And they thought, well, we didn't expect that. So fair enough. They realized that us as humans, simply by being around quantum particles, force quantum particles to take structure. Just like that. There was nothing more simple, more basic than the simple reality, personal reality and external reality, that quantum particles are manipulated simply by human presence. Now, all they did was they followed the natural law of the DNA. So the next step was to say, well, how can we manipulate that? How can we choose the pattern? How can we define how manifestation works? They hadn't even chosen consciousness yet. When they introduced consciousness, they were able to manipulate the pattern. When they thought about, hey, let's decide which pattern we want that to be beyond the human DNA, they were able to determine patterns. Now, it's very similar to, have you ever seen the experiment where they put sand on a speaker, and depending on the frequency of the sand, it picks a particular shape? Have you ever seen that?
Yep.
So the same principle. It's the same law of attraction. It's vibration. Everything is a vibration. So every thought has a vibration. So as they were thinking, that vibration of their thoughts determined the structure of the quantum particles. It's as simple as that. So they scientifically proved without a doubt that what we think is how we create. So now you step into the law of attraction, you realize, now wait a second, I didn't even know that. Or I didn't fully understand. I knew about the law of attraction, but I didn't fully understand those particular aspects of the law of attraction. Where is my choice? Where's my consciousness? Where's my will come into play? Well, it always has. What you have right now, you created. There's no escaping it. You started manifesting the moment you became human. But you started manifesting the moment you employed choice. Now, we're born with two things. We have awareness and choice. The awareness is the part that most people don't employ. They're not even aware that they need to be aware. So in that simple mistake of living, we leave out the awareness and just make choices. We choose based on emotions. Now, the catch is that our spiritual self, because we're spirits having a physical experience, our spiritual self determines, or should I say communicates, with us through the vibration of emotions. The more base the emotion, the further away we are from our actual truth of who and what we are. And that is the signal that the spirit gives us on a regular basis now and forever. Every moment, all day, every day, you have emotional reactions or sensations. And in those emotions are our signals from our spirit. And the reality is that we don't have the awareness, or most of us don't have the awareness to change that. We just go, like a lot of people say, I'm angry. Well, no, you're not angry. You are not angry. You just feel angry. You are not hate. You just feel hate. You are not love. You just feel love. Now, the spiritual truth is that love has no judgment, has no punishment. So in that, we have lost our connection to the spirit, because we all, even today, even as a master of the law of attraction, I am able to judge. And in that judgment, I can find myself able to choose punishment because of the judgment. So-and-so did this, they should be that, right? And it's a natural human thing because of our egos. Our egos have driven us away. That's the separation part that we learned how to protect ourselves with, was that our egos drive our actions because we don't know any better. We're not aware. Right? Does it make sense so far?
Yep. I'm listening with open ears.
Awesome. So I don't want to lose anybody, because oftentimes as I get into this, people are going, what is he talking about? And, and I want you to step in and say, hey, wait a second, can, clarify this, or, what do you mean by that? Because I don't want to lose you. And
no, I'm listening intently, and a lot of the stuff what you have said so far is what I believe anyway. So yeah,
beautiful.
Keep going.
Beautiful. Yes. So as our connection with the ego and so on and so forth keeps us from our spiritual selves, we allow ourselves to be judgmental. And in that judgment, we allow ourselves to make choices. And in those choices is our manifestation. So when we choose things that are not spiritually driven, we don't end up manifesting things that allow us to be happy. We manifest things that the universe says, now, wait a second, he hasn't learned that lesson, so we're going to give him that lesson again. And this is the catch that most people don't understand. They'll spend 10 years, 20 years struggling with such and such, and they'll say, why does this keep happening to me? And the lesson is that the universe keeps giving you the lesson until you learn it. That's the awareness part. When we're able to be aware that the universe is doing this to us, or for us, because life doesn't happen to us, life happens for us. All these lessons that we experience, this is the universe saying, hey, I'm trying to get you to the next level, buddy. Come on, step up, right? So in that awareness, when you start to see that, when you start to understand that, it's like, right? Because trust me, when it comes to the law of gravity, nobody steps off a building without a parachute. They understand the law, and they realize that this is, I'm gonna, if I don't go down these steps properly, I'm taking a tumble, and so on and so forth, right? This is how engineers have made rockets get to outer space, and so on and so forth, with an understanding of the law of gravity. So what I'm trying to share with people, or I am sharing with people, is the choice of awareness in that. So we need to be aware that what we're living is what we chose to live. What we are thinking is what we chose to think. And the only way to change that is to change our awareness. Because we come to this planet, this earth, as a physical experience with awareness and choice. And that's what we leave with. We only end up with that as spirits. Now, the catch is that the spiritual realm only understands love. It understands, omnipotence. Everything is already there. That's why we're here to have this experience. We're here to have the contrast so we can appreciate the power of our spiritual selves. So let's just, for example, say that you have a favorite food and you choose to only eat that food. Over time, it's going to get to the place where that food ain't so favorite anymore, because it's, I've been eating this all day, every day for years, and it's lost its savor. It's lost its pizzazz. And this is where the contrast of the physical experience comes in to help us understand the next level. We are able to choose once we are aware. If we're not aware, we don't think of the fact that we need to make a different choice, right? So this is the power of those two things that we came here with, the awareness and the choice, right? Lots of people, they just end up with the choice, and then they wonder, why do I have all this garbage going on in my life? Why is there not more, like, when I get this, I'll be happy? Have you ever heard that one before?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever heard the person say, oh, well, that makes me not happy. I'm not happy about that.
Yeah, we all say it. We've all said it at one point in our lives. We're not happy with the pandemic. Shit's going to get better next year or next month or tomorrow or whatever. We all say it's the human condition. And you're right. Unless you're aware that you're saying these things, how are you going to stop yourself from saying them? Because they just come out. Because you feel unhappy about a situation.
That's right. That's right. And that's the spirit sharing with you that you're not being aware of the truth of who you could be. You're being in a place where you're repeating who you don't want to be. And that's, that's a challenge that we all face. That's the place. So from a coaching perspective, I call that the stimulus response gap, where we end up at our growth edge. So where we have external stimulus is, hearing bad news or watching just any news, because not much news is good these days, right?
No.
Right. And then we have this instinctive reaction time that's about 0.6 of a second, where we hear something from the outside and we let our ego set the pattern. We don't let the spirit set the pattern. We let our ego set the pattern, and boom, we respond. That's our stimulus response. Now, the gap is that little wee 0.6 of a second. We have a choice as to how long that gap is. It doesn't have to be instinctive, and it doesn't have to be negative. We don't have to react with negative from the negative. We understand, if we give ourselves a chance, how to turn that around to the positive. So what I teach is understand your stimulus response gap. Understand the emotion that comes up when the ego says, hey, that's a pile of crap. I'm not happy with it. Well, this is your plan. This is your chance. This is your time. How many times have you already done this wrong? And this is the universe giving you the lesson again, right? So now's the time to extend that gap. Apply your spiritual knowledge and change your choices.
Okay, so if you're a business owner, how can you change your mindset to get into all of this, learnings of the law of attraction? A lot of people don't believe in it. They just think it's
That's
all
right.
real. And
that's right. And
so
this is where
as a business owner, how can they use this to better their business?
It's a challenge. It is a tough challenge. I struggle with this with my clients as well. And I actually came to a place where I actually chose to quit a corporate security job because of it. I was in a place where, as COVID struck, I was given personal protective equipment for myself and my team, and I was ordered to hand it down. This is what you get. Now, personal protective equipment from a mask and your disinfectant and your gloves are meant to be worn for a very limited amount of time. They're not meant to be, if you're getting it from a dentist office or a doctor's office, it's one time only. And I was given enough for 2 days and told to make it last for 7. Right? So there's my opportunity. Am I going to go with my ego and say, you know what, guys, we've got ourselves a bad situation here. It's not safe for me, and now I'm going to pass it on to you. It's not safe for you. This is where the awareness comes in. This is where the choice comes in. You have to be willing to stand up for yourself, who you are, what you know is right, and what it means for your other stakeholders. So as a team coach, a corporate team coach, what I try to help people understand is you have that opportunity to stand your ground. You have that opportunity to communicate that, hey, wait a second, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to work for my company. This isn't going to make my product any better. This isn't going to help the things that I'm trying to do with people that buy my product, right? This is actually going to, like 5G, for example. It's going to make lots of money, but is it helping anybody? Right? It's a controversial subject. I understand.
Absolutely.
That, right? But this is what corporate America or corporate world today deals with, is the old school. You're going to make a profit, or I'm going to sell your shares. Right? And that's the challenge that we all face, because we're all stakeholders, every one of us, whether we're the president, the janitor, the garbage collector, the vice president, whether we're the team leader. It doesn't matter who we are. We're all stakeholders. And the catch is that, yes, that many of us don't have a choice because of what's handed down. But ultimately we do. Because if you are able to get to that place where you say, wait a second, this is wrong for me. Now, I'll admit that when I resigned, it didn't solve the problem. But at least I stood the ground for myself, and I set the example for other people. And this is where, like, for example, when I said to my supervisor, I'm going to take my holidays now because I need to, I need some personal time, right? He says, okay, well, take your holidays. And then here in Canada, I don't know how it is for you guys in Australia, but here in Canada, one of the things about personal leave is that they're not allowed to ask why.
No,
because it's personal, right? So it's against the law for you to ask someone when they say, I need personal leave, why do you need that personal leave, right? And towards the end of my holidays, I called in and I said, now I need some personal leave. Previously, it was just holidays. Now it's personal leave. The first question out of his mouth, now this is the same fellow that gave me the orders to take one-time use-only stuff and use it several times. So I already knew that, this was not resonating for me or for the personal reality of myself or my team, right? So I said, I'm going to take that leave. And he said, why? And I said, well, then I guess I resign right here and now. And he went, really? You're going to resign? I said, I just did. Send me my paperwork. It's done. And this is the point that we have to reach. Sadly, it's true. This is where we have to be in order to run a business with now in my own business. Now that I am running my own business, I understand, right? I know both sides. I've seen the whole situation. I get what it is that drives the dollar, so to speak. What's the product supposed to be? What's the end result supposed to be? As a business owner, as a leader, as someone that's been there on the wrong side of it, I understand that it's not easy and it's tough. And our only option is to be aware of what the choices are that are right for us. Now, I get it. I know that there's lots of companies out there that are struggling right now. Many have lost everything. They're down. They're shut down. The companies that are doing well are the ones that are embracing the circumstances. Now, are they embracing the circumstances for the sake of the dollar or for the sake of humanity? The ones that are going to last are the ones that are embracing the circumstances for the sake of humanity. Because think of all the humanity out there that's getting tired of how it's going.
Yes.
Right? There's billions of us.
The world's had a big shift this year, and I think next Monday will be one of the hugest shifts that we've seen in millennia. I think it will be, it'll be huge.
Yeah, right. And there's a lot of propaganda that gets us into disinformation, it gets us into misinformation, and it gets us into what is the truth. And this is where the awareness part comes in. We have to be, now I'm a meditator. I'm a person that writes gratitudes in the morning. I understand all of those things because it drives my manifestations. And the thing that people struggle with is not believing. They have no faith. It's that old school thing they were taught. Get a job. The job is the only thing that's going to get you to your retirement or to your happiness. And meanwhile, they're miserable and they're never going to be able to retire. And this is the part that people are stumbling over. They're not catching the truth of it. And it's going to take a serious, the global situation started when everybody was put in a position to do the same thing right around the world. And then everybody started working from home. And now all of those things that we were talking about are actually starting to happen, like work from home mentality, the opportunity not to have to commute. A lot of people had the chance to be in a place where, hey, wait a second, I like working from home. I as much as I'm doing more work at home because the boss says, hey, you're there, do it. Now it's an opportunity for people to set a pattern for themselves, where before the external was setting the pattern. Now it's the internal you have to use to set the pattern. Now, of course, it's going to be kids, it's going to be, groceries, it's going to be bills. I get all that. But that all stems from our ability to be aware of who we are, our personal reality, right? So this is a challenge that we all face. Now, it was an excellent question that you asked, because a lot of people are not going to agree with me. They're going to say, well, what am I supposed to do without a job? I understand that. I get it. You need to pay the bills. You need to put food on the table. You need shelter. I understand that. It doesn't mean that the job you had is your only opportunity. There's many, many opportunities out there, and there's many, many different ways to embrace those opportunities. The world is changing. Be part of the change. Don't be stuck in that old paradigm that makes you a slave, essentially, right? Are we slaves or are we masters? It's a choice that we have to make. And I had that choice when I was given those orders. Am I going to be a slave or am I going to be a master?
Yeah, it's often been said that, we're the masters of our own destiny. So,
right. And this is the sad truth of the whole circumstance. Now, as a business owner, let's say, for example, Amazon or Google, they're in a place where they are able to embrace certain things, but they're seeing changes. And they're seeing changes that are affecting their purchases, how their products are moving, who's purchasing them and why. And this is the part that we need to be back to the awareness again. We need to be aware of all these things. Now, I know I'm staying in a spiritual zone here, but the catch is that we're all spiritual people. We've been driven away from that spirituality, and corporations have always been of the dollar is the only thing that counts. And I know I have mentors that walked away from multi-$100,000 businesses, or excuse me, jobs where they were making $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year because they were not happy. For example, one of my mentors said regularly tells a story about he was, 80-hour weeks, $300,000 a year, in charge of billions of dollars. And one day his daughter said something to him that made him realize that he was going to lose his daughter if he didn't change what he was doing. And he resigned right then and there because he knew he had the awareness and he had the ability to be his own master and take that step. Now, if we all are able to make that choice, we will make a huge difference, right? And it's a matter of whether you want to be a master or a slave. Do you want to be the master of your own destiny? And again, it's about building dreams. He's making more money now than he ever thought possible because he made that shift and became his own master. He didn't rely on the corporate mastery or do it the way I say, or you don't like it. And another mentor of mine, it was all about holidays. He wanted to spend time with his family. And when he presented the option to his boss and said, "Hey man, I want to take some time off," the boss said, "Nope, we can't go. Not only can you not go now, but you can't go for another 6 months." Where's their positive forward movement in that? How do we develop a family that is going to be cohesive, is going to be loving, is going to be together, is going to be future? Who's going to want to live in a world like that? And that's where we were before this pandemic. So the pandemic gave us a huge opportunity to embrace the change.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So,
anyway, Dean, where can people find you? And please tell me about your live streams on Facebook.
So my live streams on Facebook, I am blessed with the ability to talk.
I hadn't noticed.
I don't need a script generally. I do keep an outline of questions, but what I do with my interviews on Facebook is I interview other coaches and professional men. I didn't mention that I'm also a suicide prevention mentor in a large men's group because of my ability to do this. I had attempted suicide in my past and had grown past that into a place where I could be a leader and someone that had a spiritual background. So I have a lot of personal truth, a lot of conviction, a lot of understanding. I mean, it was all about me losing my family too. That was part of the challenge. And this all happened just after the 2008 global collapse, where I had to make some big changes, but I hadn't understood the awareness part yet. So when I started understanding the awareness part, that's where I was inspired to start to do the Go Lives. Well, not then, but that's why I do the Go Lives, is to help people have awareness, to help people share the message. So I do the same thing similar to what you do, is I give the opportunity for people to be interviewed by me and to share what they do, how they feel, how they make it a success, and to give a call to action at the end. And I don't do it for me. I don't do it for me at all. I do it so they can have the opportunity to share my network and to share their opportunity with people that know and love and trust me. So on Dean Brown, that is the name of my Facebook page. I do my Go Lives. I mix it back. I use StreamYard so that it hits other pages, but our personal pages are where all the organic reach is, and that's where we meet the people that are the strongest for our brand. Yes, we have paid ads on our business pages, but the truth is in our personal profiles. That's who we really are. That's where our truth is. But the idea for me is to share and encourage other people to get their voice out there. And I try to make people feel at ease. I try to make people feel that there's a happy reason for them to be doing this, right? We all want to be happy. We want to have an end result that leads like, oh, I enjoyed that. I want to do that again, which is probably why you did your second podcast, Rose, I would think. Not that you're only at your second. I didn't catch how many you had on your.
I think you are number 56.
Oh, see, there you go. And the beauty of it is that when I was first interviewed on a podcast, I actually knew the person. She was a friend of mine. And she says, oh, teach about the law of attraction, Dean. So I had a sense of peace and ability to share without stress or fear. And that gave me the inspiration to say, hey, that was kind of cool. But it also helped her start her business. And this is the whole idea of what we do, what you do, what I do. It's to help people get to that next level, right? To be a part of that growth, that happiness, that inspiration. So that's my live streams, and that's why I do them. And when I do them, I am all about the person sharing. I don't direct, they do. So, and it's a beautiful thing, just like you just did now, Rose, and I really appreciate that from you.
No, that's what this show's about. It's giving and allowing space for my guests to share their knowledge with other people so that other people can gain benefit from it. So, yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate that.
So where else can they find you other than on your Facebook page? I know.
So my website is www.mypersonalreality.ca. So that's an easy one to remember. And I'm going to start loading up my YouTube channel. I haven't done that yet, but I'm looking forward to that. So you'll find everything you need on www.mypersonalreality.ca. That's my website. And you can go to actually at the top banner, there's an opportunity for you to join me now for my live streaming. The schedule is there, and the join me now button is there. So anybody that wants to come together for some personal reality coaching, anybody that wants to have an opportunity to learn what the law of attraction means, because they're using it by default or by choice, by all means, reach out to me. I'm happy to share with you. All my contact information is either on my website or my Facebook page. So find that, you find me.
Perfect. Well, Dean, thank you so much for your time and sharing with us the law of attraction and what it can mean for small business and how they can improve their life and not only their personal life, but their business life as well.
It's a powerful tool. We just need to know how to be aware to use it, right? Yes, awesome. Right. Thank you. And I appreciate you having me here, Rose. Thank you so much.
All right. You're so welcome. I'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.